Charlotte, what benefits do you think the investment company structure has in an inflationary environment?
So one great thing about the investment company structure with personal assets trust is we can actually hold physical gold. And I think in inflation, gold is a really important asset. Ultimately, people refer to it as a commodity. It's really a currency. It's a currency that, unlike the fiat versions, it's limited in its supply, but it also tends to be a very good hedge against periods of geopolitical uncertainty. In particular. So we are seeing today, in the last few days and weeks, gold start to come into its own as people are looking for that safe haven, and having that physical gold, knowing that you can, and we have visited the gold, touch the bars, you can take delivery of that gold. That's incredibly important as security on something which ultimately can't be debased in the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. And fiat currencies, obviously currencies backed by a government. But, gold, a real asset. I think you're quite right. It's amazing that you can hold and of course, the closed-ended investment company structure is ideal. Ben, what benefits do you think the investment company structure has in an inflation environment for your company?
Well, I think the sort of three kind of main things, Annabel, I think I'd point to. I think, first of all, we have revenue reserves which are able to be built up over time, and they allow us to smooth out our dividend distributions to investors. So if we do find ourselves in the environment where earnings are not meeting our dividend commitment, or perhaps keeping up with inflation, we have some flexibility to either fill in a hole or to add a little bit more to our distributions from those revenue reserves. So I think that's quite important. I think the other thing then is that, generally speaking, the fees and costs of investment trusts are quite low compared to their open-ended brethren. So again, that should help offset perhaps if there is some erosion of return for investors. That will help them. And again, that can be quite meaningful. 40, 50 basis points might not sound very much, but when the long-term return on equities is 8, 9%, that's quite a big percentage of that. And that compounded over time can make a big difference. And again, I think one of the things which will also help offset returns will be leverage. We have relatively modest leverage in Digit. It's about 8% or so of net assets. But if we are in an environment where we do see sort of higher nominal growth driving higher profits, and that feeding through to higher share prices, then that should allow us again to be able to sort of slightly accentuate the returns that are available to investors over time. So I think there are a number of clear advantages to the investment trust structure for investors.